assistants they want because it's a coveted job, and as you can see, like it's clearly become a feeder to get a head coaching position. But those three guys definitely meant a ton to that team this year. And
I'd be shocked if more than one of them got a job.
You think you'd be shocked if more than one of them got a job?
Yeah,
I think two of them are getting a job.
I think Vaughn has no shot.
I think Udoka. My prediction is I think Udoka might get the Celtics job, and I think D'Antoni is gonna. I think D'Antoni's definitely gonna be flirting around a lot of these places.
Yeah, D'Antoni might get Portland.
I don't think so. I think his best shot is probably Indiana.
Wow.
Because if I'm Portland, I'm not hiring a guy that's had a history of falling short.
Well, look, the Milwaukee position also may be open if they lose to the Bucks. And honestly, even if they
Carlisle's out there too, don't forget. Like he's getting a job if he wants one.
Yeah, Carlisle's gonna get the best job.
But I think you guys
understand whatever the best job is.
Like I think my point is obviously that those assistants obviously played a massive role this year, and behind the scenes definitely, and even during the game you can see it. And so and like who knows how much of a voice Nash is, or whether Nash is more like Nash might just be more of like a CEO type. You know, he's great with the media. He knows how to handle like the big issues with players. But you know, like this is also a team where when you're trying to win a title, everything's got to be perfect.
He's the perfect startup founder. You want the guy that smiles and the investors like him, and you know he doesn't really do anything, but he raises tons of investment dollars, and he's a good face for the corporation and in the media. And then behind the scenes, there's a great tech CTO, there's a great marketing officer, and there's a great chief financial officer that all would be horrible as CEO. But
is Becky Hammond gonna get a job?
Yeah, I think she is.
I don't think she is.
No, why not?
Because I think it's the type of I think she's going to get to the finals of all these things, and everyone's going to be like, "Oh, she got so close," and then she won't get it.
I think she has as an NBA.
I agree.
As an NBA, like I think the NBA ownerships would right now. People are kind of like. There's a lot of teams that have mailed it in that says we don't have talent nowhere near this talent.
Here's an issue with hiring Becky Hammond, the first female coach. Your leash with her, if things aren't going well, if it's quick, you could be criticized. If she's just like a disaster, you know, like the players aren't. First off, you'd have to probably run it by your stars. It's a sexist thing, but it's a sexist world. Are you comfortable being coached by a female? Being the first team, the only team in the league to have a female coach, you know, and if it's going really poorly, she's being tuned out, and you fire her quick, there is some PR nightmare behind that. It's a tough divorce.
Well, we don't have to worry about that.
No, I think her best bet is waiting for Popovich to retire.
Possible. I think she goes to like a team that doesn't have any stakes.
I mean, I'm sorry, but if you're
looking to tank, and
if
she
you're
goes
the
there and wows them.
If you're the Pelicans, who are like, I'm hearing they're talking about hiring Teresa Weatherspoon. I mean, no offense, I don't want to sound sexist, but if that goes poorly, that's just gonna be another thing you tack onto the list of why Zion left in 4 years.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely I mean
that's a ballsy move, man.
Yeah, they can't do it. It has to be another team that has no shot.
Like Orlando,
that she'd be great there. Go and make them play defense and you know muck up their way to.
How do you handle the locker room? These guys are just naked with their cocks hanging out.
It's got to be a place with
She's not in the cock.
It's got to be.
She's married.
With a GM and or some type of front office person that's really well respected and where you can't second guess them. So like if it was like someone who like Riley or Popovich or one of those guys signed off on, and then it's like, all right, you have to kind of listen up and do whatever because you know it's kind of like how Spoelstra got him, like even though they all wanted him fired, he got to stay because Riley gave him the approval. That's what you kind of need with that. I'm sure everyone like speaks glowingly about Becky Hammond. I'm sure she could do it. I agree with Bam that I'm sure if things go south, it's a fucking.
It's always hard for assistant coaches in the NBA to show how good. Like in the NFL, you got a good defensive coordinator, you got a good offensive coordinator. It's easy to see that they might have a chance to be a head coach. It's hard to see like do we really know if Ime Udoka could be a really good coach? No.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Everybody says great things about Becky Hammond, but like if you said something negative about her, it would come off as like crass and almost you'd be like ostracized for it. It's like who fucking knows if Becky Hammond can stand in front of NBA All-Stars and command their attention? And I'm totally aware of the sexist undertones here, and I'm not trying to be sexist, but it is a reality of the situation and the complications that would come with hiring a female.
Yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk, but it shouldn't be. I think
honestly, Brooklyn's probably the best place for a female coach to start out. To be honest, just with the fan base.
Maybe when we're rebuilding.
Like San Antonio.
You wouldn't risk it now if Nash stepped down. If Nash stepped down, you wouldn't take.
And by the way, I just want to say one thing, which because me and my when I was leaving the Barclays Center, I obviously called my dad, who goes back to the Long Island Nets days and is very sick of losing, and he was nervous also about all of them opting out, and this whole thing being horrible, and all the Rockets draft, all the picks going to the Rockets and everything. The only thing I can say to that, and as we've said on this podcast, I'm nervous about them possibly leaving, but we do have a guy who already got us out of a fucking hellhole, and and now he's shown that he can do it, and that he can lure big time talent, and has made Brooklyn and the Nets organization into a place that people want to go to. So
but even him, if this hits rock bottom, he could just be like, I'm gonna go pursue a job somewhere else. I don't want to go through this all over again.
Let me go fix the Lakers.
He wants to get paid more. He wants. He doesn't like the control. Maybe he gets a little power hungry. A million things can arise.
A lot of this is going to come down to, and like Eve, you've talked about it because I think you have more of an ear on the ground to this type of stuff. A lot of this is going to come down to, does Cy want to pay for, let's say, the most expensive roster ever? Because like if he's willing to, and he talks the talk and then walks the walk, then like they should be fine, and they'll be able to get whoever they want. But if he starts penny pinching like what Prokhorov did after the first couple of years, then you have really big fucking issues. Well,
in fairness to Cy, though, like you're asking him, if he signed Spencer Dinwiddie to $18 million a year, it's like a $54 million a year contract for a third ball handler. I mean, that's some serious coin, to ask. These guys don't become rich by being, wild with their money.
That is 1/1000th of 1/8 of his of his wealth. He's insanely rich, and he's gotten richer. And this asset that is the Brooklyn Nets, I always try to say that, like, for him is the team becoming worth more. And since he paid $2.2 billion for the team and the building is worth more. The property value has gone up. The fact that they keep winning, the value of the team goes more. Like, it's not going to go to $3 billion. Like, it's probably somewhere in the 2.6, 2.7 billion. But you got these other teams that's selling for close to that number, and they're not in New York. So his investment is,
I'm not saying he can't afford it, but like Amazon can afford to pay its workers more, and they don't. Like these rich guys,
right? But that's
look at it very pragmatically.
But you're talking about MBAs who are making decisions down the line for line items that they're responsible for. Like their KPI or numbers they're supposed to hit is like, how do we make this whole thing cheaper? So it's not like it's any sweat off of Jeff Bezos' balls. He doesn't care. He's got $217 billion. He doesn't care. It's just the principle of capitalism that they're trying to keep up with. But this is a toy. This is
and stuff too, right?
Yeah, this is a billionaire's toy, right?
Well, look, it's not my money. Fuck him. I want pay it, you asshole. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think Marks wants to be, hamstrung. He likes some kind of thing, but they have very little ways to get talent. And we talked about Spencer Dinwiddie way too long. Let's close this out and say, give everybody something to feel good about the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, I'll say that it's a short off season. We won't have to wait long to see them back on the floor. October is right around the corner. The summer always goes fast. Football starts really in August because of the training camp and the preseason games. It'll divert your attention and lead us right back up to October, and we'll be the favorites. Again, that's that. As hard as this feels, we will be the favorites, barring another injury set on opening night when the season opens, and we'll be the heavy favorites in the East, and we'll be heavy favorites for the title.
That's true. You can't deny that. Sam, give us something to be positive as a Brooklyn Net fan.
So I got a couple things. One, as both of you probably know, and I know we did a pod last summer where we actually had a bunch of different big time Nets fans on this. I'm a big draft nerd. I haven't done my big scouting yet, which I usually do and spend a lot of time watching the tape and all that shit. The Nets have, I think, three second round picks, two of which are decent, and I think they also have their own, the 27th pick. I think they'll probably, look, Marks has moved picks every single year, and this year may not be any different, but I think they could probably use some athleticism and talent. So I'm interested to see if he packages some stuff and tries to move up maybe a little bit in the first round, or does he try to move up, package some of the two later picks in the second round to move up? Because I always think, I think Marks has proven he can find talent and in all different places. Even I think the little bit we saw of Reggie Perry was better than what you see from most second round picks here and there. So I'm excited about that. And honestly, I'm far more bullish on the three of them, the big three, wanting to stay there, wanting to stay in Brooklyn and be here. I think they care about starting something. I think that the idea of them going somewhere new again and starting over after everything that's gone on.
I'll say this, Sam, if they're smart, for the sake of their championship windows, they'd sign those extensions.
I agree with you. And by the way, I actually think
it helps the team.
I actually think that Harden and Kyrie are at the point where if they have another big injury again, they're teetering on with Harden's weight issues and partying, and with Kyrie, who's basically gets hurt basically every year and has played I think half of the available games over the last 5 years or 4 years. They're at the point where they're one big injury away from not necessarily getting any guaranteed money. So you saw what happened with DeMarcus Cousins. He went from being a max bird rights guy, and then before he knew it, you pop your Achilles and no one wants you anymore. So I think all those guys, including KD, are going to do something together. I'm excited. I'm a huge Olympic basketball guy, so I'm excited that Harden's going to be playing in that.
Oh God, I'm so pissed they're playing.
It's you know what? It's Darren Williams. It's that situation. He should never have played in the Olympics. He should have never played in Turkey, and never taking a break ruined him. And I don't understand, for as much load management and every fucking thing else, why are these guys playing in the Olympics?
So you two are both. So I'm alone here. You two are both anti-Olympics.
I don't give a fuck about Team USA.
No, but I don't care whether you're pro or anti the team itself, but you two are both anti KD and Harden playing in the Olympics.
Absolutely, yes. They've done it. They've got their gold medals.
There's way too much miles on those guys. So unnecessary.
I'm at the point. I have to be honest. If there's anything that this year taught me, I think I used to be far more cautious, and I'm just honestly at the fucking point where I thought the Nets played the whole load management thing this year totally right, and I never really minded their sitting, and they still got absolutely annihilated by injuries. And I'm just at the point where if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And I get that there's thresholds, and I don't want KD playing in every tournament this summer, and I don't want Harden playing in every single random LA tournament which I'm sure they'll all be in this summer. But
I'd rather him play in the Rucker. I'd rather him play in the Rucker than play in the Olympics.
Stay out of the park. Stay out of the Olympics.
The Olympics, it's not to me. It's to me. First of all, for Harden, it's a way to just fucking play and like
You're
hopefully
hoping the Olympic keeps Harden in shape. No, I'm